Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dolly Shares for you. I pre-record these, and then Colleen plays them later on Wednesdays from, the time just got changed. 4 to 6, 6 to 7. I think she starts at 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. I think that's when these play. Today I am recording the number 10, and the date is May 2nd, 2018. Today it's going to be Dave Speaks, and Dolly shares what Dave speaks. He wants to talk about, let me think how to say it, celestial beings and realms, according to Dave. That'll be the title of this. He's all excited about it. I'm not kidding you. I started taking dictation from him when I had a quiet moment a couple days ago. I can't even remember when. I have had people in my house forever lately. The painter guy who was just, he thought he was the best painter in the universe, but the poor guy was maybe the worst. So we'll have to do a lot of touch-up. But he was here for a couple weeks because it took him that long to paint 2 rooms. Oh my gosh. And anyway, I'm over that experience. He won't be coming back as of, I don't remember when, recently. Today you might be hearing a bunch of noise in the background. The house directly behind me is getting re-roofed. The house next to me on the east side is getting cement poured for a driveway put in their backyard from the street into their backyard because they have so many vehicles, so there's all that noise going on. I did, Colleen, turn the fan off, so hopefully there won't be that hum in my headset. So I'm trying to clear the path because of Dave's excitement over this particular show. Everyone, well, I can't ever say everyone because not everyone. Lots of people want to know about celestial beings and about the spiritual realms. And Dave wants to address that. And he says it's not in a comprehensive way. It's going to be in a brief way that you probably might still have more questions. But he's going to share with us what he can share with us. And he even, this is so important, y'all. He has made me save the document as I type it out. What I'm doing is I'm listening to him, and as he talks, I take the dictation. Like when a secretary takes dictation at a job, well, I type like 120 words a minute. So I always, if the boss happened to be near me and wanted to dictate, I'd just do it directly on the typewriter. Yeah, I actually use typewriters. I don't think they're used all that much these days because of computers. But the computer, I think, has even made me faster in typing. So there you go. So I typed out all this stuff as he's doing it, but he kept saying to me, save the document. Save the document. So, okay, I'm saving as I'm going. And I was telling Nancy about it just before I started this recording. And she said something that made Dave react. She said paranoia from the other side, and she had a bunch of question marks. And when she said that, all of a sudden, I got goosebumps. And I'm cold now, Dave. I said to her, oh my. He is saying there are those who don't want this aired as in the collective minds in order to keep some in the dark. So this material, so let me clarify that. Hold on. He's talking to me. He says she hit the nail right on the head because there are those spirits who do not want, spirits and earth human beings, who don't want this information out in the collective minds because they want to keep a lot of people in the dark. They don't want them knowing this information, and so he's saying it's a hot topic, Dolly, like you're a hot chickie. Dave. Oh, he's so cute. So anyway, that's the story on this recording. He cracks me up. We're sitting here giggling together. I wish y'all could hear him. I really do. I wish I could share this experience with you so you could hear it. It just would be so much fun. So we're going to start with celestial beings. And I probably will be mostly reading from what I typed from what Dave said, but he said he's going to have me embellish on some of it. So there are many kinds of celestial beings. They have their separate groups who work together with other celestial groups, especially when it comes to helping the souls who want to become human beings here on earth and souls who go to other places of learning and experiencing. There's lots of other places out there, y'all, where we can go when we're in our spirit souls, when our souls are spirits. And we can live at these places and learn and experience the things that are in those places. So it's not just Earth that we live at, that we experience things and learn. Celestial beings include archangels, warrior angels, and warrior beings. And he says to stop a minute and explain. Yes, we need warrior angels and warrior beings because there are, how do you want me to say that? Okay, he says go ahead and use the word wars. There are wars being waged even in the spirit realms. And there's wars being waged with spirits aiding the human beings here on earth, as well as the other places. So there's definitely a need for warrior angels and warrior beings. I'm listening. And he says that's enough to say about that. There's guardian angels. Everybody has a guardian angel. Oh, and he says some people have more than one. Well, cool. He says some of the guardian angels are purely angels. They've never lived life on earth or at any of the other places. They are purely guardian angels. He says some of the other guardian angels that join the guardian angels for the human beings or other beings, are because they are souls who are connected, and the human being has had a relationship in some way with this other angel who wants to be a guardian angel over him. It could be even a relative up the line that they never got to meet in person, but that one wants to come and guard over the soul while it's on earth or in one of the other places. So it's not just strictly guardian angels that we have, but there's other spirits that we are connected to that want to watch over us while we're here. So I would consider them celestial beings too. Dave says absolutely. Thank you, Dave. There's even companion angels. We have angels who just want to be our companion, and they are with us. And sometimes, okay, Dave says expound on that. Sometimes when you're hearing voices in your head, and it's kind of in a conversational way, or he says just stick with voices in your head. If you take a moment to listen and hear what they're saying, you can tell if that's a companion angel that just wants to be with you and encourage you or talk with you about different things that you were inquiring about, or he says you'll feel them. You just feel them, that you have a companion angel with you. So he's telling me to take this opportunity to share with y'all, be more open to the good spirits. Just be more open to good spirits around you. They're there to help. And he says there's all sorts of other angels. You think of it, and it exists. So that's it with the angel topic on celestial beings that I'm going to do for now. There's also, let me make sure I'm taping. Yes, I'm still taping, Dave. Oh my gosh. We're okay. We're good. There are watchers who watch over what is occurring, and they report back to what, for lack of words, I'll call overlords, who meet with each other, and the overlords determine what action, if any, needs to be taken about what the watchers report back to them. And then if action needs to be taken, these overlords assign the actions to the appropriate celestial beings, and they discuss and they plan and they figure out, okay, this is what you need to do is what you need to do. And then once they get all the actions done that need to be done, assigned, then the overlords report to their next higher up. And Dave didn't go anywhere with these next higher ups. He says, you don't need to go any farther up the chain. Okay. Alrighty then. So we know about the watchers and the overlords. Alright. Okay. So, what's next? Oh, he's saying, just a minute. He wants to talk more about the watchers. He says, watchers include animals of any kind, like birds can be watchers. Your pets can be your watchers, and they watch over everything in your environment that they can see and feel and hear. Animals, birds, humans, they can be other. No, they aren't. Well, they are, but they aren't. There can be others who are watchers who we see in human form, but they aren't really human. But we see them in human form. There can be spirit watchers, those who are spirits, just watching over everything. I'm trying to picture what he's saying. Hold on. All of us, Dave, help me. I got a block. Oh, he says, see, this is why he's so paranoid. Okay, he's working with me. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to start reading what he said, and he's working on this little block I seem to have. We did the watchers. Okay, there's celestial beings who sit in with the soul planning groups. I've talked about the soul groups before, that we have these soul groups that we're with all the time, and sometimes we swap around and we go sit in with other soul groups because they need us, so I'm talking about those soul planning groups. So the celestial beings sit in with these groups and help them by advising them, or if more information is needed, the celestial being will go out and get the more information that's needed and share it with the group to help them better make plans better. They help direct the group back to the subject, because sometimes the soul group can tend to go off on tangents, or some of the members can get a little over exuberant in their plans and get really excited and way out there. So the celestial beings bring them back to where they really need to be with their plans in the group. And so there's that kind of celestial being. Yeah, I'm hearing you better now. Okay. And there are celestial beings that are council members. He says they're so full of councils it can just I can't say that. He says go ahead and say it. He says you can poop out council members all over the place. Okay, Dave. He says that has many meanings in what he told me to just say. Alrighty. So the legitimate celestial beings councils are, for example, the library council. I'll talk to you more about the library later. They determine what should go into the library and in what form it should go in the library. And sometimes they go in and edit what is in the library depending on what has occurred with the material that a certain being, whether spiritual or human or one of the other beings, has whatever materials they made that the council decided to put in the library. It depends on what that being is further experiencing on whether they add to it. They continually edit what is in the spiritual library. organized so that the records are kept properly. I know, Dave. I hear you. He says some people are wanting to call the library Akashic Records. Well, that's different than what the library is. The Akashic Records are different than the library materials. Two separate entities, and we will not go into the Akashic Records. He has a little, he doesn't want to talk about that. Okay, he has his reasons, and I know what they are, but I'm not sharing them. Okay. We have our reason. Okay, where was I? Oh, councils of all kinds. And I gave you an example of a library council. And, he says what you in a library council would do. You think of a council, and it probably exists, as long as you aren't being silly about it. He says sometimes people just want to be controversial or silly in their thoughts, and he's not entertaining that. So, the library, oh, no, I'll tell you about the library later. We're talking spiritual, celestial beings. There are some celestial beings who explore places that have, the places have little or no traffic to them, and they're curious as to why that is. And they want to know, is it worth sharing or advertising that place so others will go and visit or stay there? So they report back, the explorers, so that's another celestial being group, explorers, report back to an exploratory council, and Dave says, here you go with another frickin' council. Yes, Dave. Who examines the findings, and they decide what to do about them. They could share the place with whomever is determined. It is with whomever it's determined to share it with. Or they can clean it up, so that they can share it with others. And there's also cleanup celestial beings that go into places like that and clean them up. Now, see, he's just telling me about this. So there's I hate to call them a cleanup celestial group, but that's what they do. He says that's what they do, Dolly, is they go in those places and clean them up if it's determined by the exploratory council that they want to clean them up. They could determine that it doesn't, maybe it's not a place that anyone should go to for one reason or another. And so they make that determination too, the exploratory council. Then I'm thinking, I'm listening, hold on. Did we do the exploratory council? Yeah. He says the explorers, the celestial explorers, are really a fun group, and they're very, I can't get the right word. They're a fun group, and they're not afraid of anything. I can't get the right word. They're very adventuresome. They aren't afraid of anything. They just go in, open-minded and curious about everything. So they check into everything. They don't leave a stone unturned, he says. And they love their jobs. He says I would make a good one of those explorer celestial beings. But he says you do other things. Okay. And you're not going to tell me, are you? He's laughing. I wish you could hear his laugh, his belly laugh. No, I'm not telling you. You know, but you forgot, 'cause they told you to forget. Okay. Oh, and he says, talking about that, there's angels who direct people, souls, over the forgetful place. There's many different types of places where beings go to forget what they know there before they get to the place they're going to, for instance, Earth. He says, yes, there's a river that you can go over that you forget from one side to the other side, from one bank to the other bank. You cross the river and you've forgotten what you're coming from, and basically what you're going to, but as you live that existence, you have your celestial beings who are guiding you in what was decided on and help you to do it, or if you choose not to do it, but it's always best if you do choose to follow the plan. He says that's a little aside, a little hint for you all. Don't fight it so much. If you relax and you go with your flow, what you feel and know in your being is a good thing for you to be experiencing, then you should not run into any difficulties. When you run into some difficulties and you keep butting your head against that wall and you keep running into the difficulty, then maybe you should sit back on your haunches and decide, hey, maybe this is not what I should be doing. And examine it and find out what you should be doing. Like maybe you can't get tickets to a certain ball game. And you try and try and try. You contact all the friends in the world you can think of. You pray to God. You ask your angels. But you still can't get those tickets. Well, you should sit back and think about it. There is a reason that you are not getting those tickets. Because it's for the highest and best of all concerned. When you ask, because I've been teaching you, so have the others, when you ask for help, always include, let it be for the highest and best of all concerned. That's very important. Okay, back to the celestial beings. Let's see. There are some who explore. Okay, we explored places. There are beings who talk with spirits who want to experience a handicap or some kind of adversity, for the lack of better words. I don't know how to say it. When they go to whatever place they decide to go to. So the celestial being discusses with that spirit the different aspects of that adversity, the different things that they will encounter because they want to experience that adversity or handicap. And they decide for sure, does the soul want to do that or not? But at least it will know to make a better informed decision because it was discussed in great length, depth. It was discussed in great depth. Some celestial beings work with spirits in various ways in the spiritual realms, with the spirits that are in the spiritual realms. For instance, growing and expanding thoughts by talking one-on-one or in groups, or going on expedition learning trips, watching something like a movie. But the movie involves them as the actors experiencing the experiences, or they can just sit and watch the movie or play be acted out and learn and experience from that. He says the acting part, experiencing the experience, are done by, he says, this is when a spirit has reached a certain place in their development. So, but you wouldn't even be interested in doing it until you reach that certain place in the development. He says, other celestial beings are building what we call buildings, but they are different than we picture in our minds when the word building is used. So they're making some sort of place, specific place is how I'm picturing it in my mind. And it's places that can be used by other souls, other spirits, beings. It's in the spiritual realms that they're doing it. There are artistic celestial beings who help those in the spirit realms and in here and other places. They help with artistic endeavors like painting, personal paintings or cathedral type paintings, or paintings that they share with others or sell, or there's paintings they do on structures, buildings, barns, things like that, stores, things like that. There are, they help with creating mosaics, the artistic celestial beings. They help with doing pottery projects. And here's one that I really found interesting. They help in creating and developing what we call textiles, but what are not exactly textiles. I don't have the right words to explain this to you. I can only explain it by textile, that word. These textiles I'm referring to are beautiful works of art that can be draped places for the sake of adding beauty, for covering furniture, for wearing, for whatever is desired. So you got those celestial beings who help with that. And they only help if you ask for the help. They don't come barging in and say, oh, you have to have me help you. No, you can do it on your own. And I'm talking on the other side as well as this side. And he says, there are a whole bunch of celestial beings because there is a whole bunch of stuff going on. That we who have chosen to have these experiences and learning and have come to specific places, need the help with. But, and lots of times we hear, don't remember, or in the other places don't remember, but these beings are here to help us, to help souls, to help each other. They're around because they're around. And here, okay, we did that. Okay. Dave says, now I know you're questioning my reference to buildings, furniture, clothing, and other worldly-like things. Our environments in all realms are what we desire and make them. He says, like Nancy and Walt say, we create our reality. Isn't that fun? We can create whatever we want here. Imagine what we can do in the spiritual realms. Holy cow! So exciting. I calm myself down from that. Okay, now I want to get into spiritual realms, and if I have time, we'll go back to some other things maybe. Dave says this is going to be difficult for me to understand and put into words for y'all, but he wants to try because the human beings are so interested in it. We have forgotten and want to be reminded and to remember. There are different realms to fit the place in which spirits, thoughts, and capabilities are. And I'm talking realms other than Earth or other places where we've decided to go and learn and experience. Okay, so these realms, spiritual type realms, aren't physically separated. Yet it's easily distinguishable where one realm moves into another realm. And we don't have that distinction when we're in spirit, that we have to have a wall. There aren't the walls like we think of. I'll try to explain that as we go further. I really am having trouble putting that separation into words. I think I did address it in a different section. Spirits can move between the realms if they want to, and when they are ready to experience a different realm. They don't even get the desire to move to another realm unless they are in a place within themselves to experience what the other realms have to offer them. Each realm has something different to offer y'all. Us. Then when they do move to the realm that attracts them, they stay there until they're ready to move to another one that attracts them. And it just continues like that. They stay in each realm until they're done and doing whatever they want to do in that realm. And then they move on, and they can always go back. But most of the realms are freely moved into and out of as the spirit feels the desire and is ready to do so. That's the key. You gotta be ready and feel the desire to go to the different realm. And when you're at that point, the realm will come into your thought or your view, or I don't know how to explain that other than that way. And you'll think, oh, hey, I want to go look at that and experience it. So there's all sorts of realms. You just gotta look around, be ready. He says there are realms that are contained for the benefit of all. He means that realm has a boundary around it, keeping those who are in that realm inside that realm. For example, there are realms where people transitioning from earth to spirit arrive and need to rest and slip into spirit at their pace and with help from the transition spirits. See, here's transition spirits. They are those transitioning from earth to spirit who are having trouble doing so because they are very confused. These spirits are paid special attention to and always have someone with them to help them until they are settled and comfortable. So that realm is just, it's open to others to come in and help this transitional soul. But they don't really leave it. He says because they don't even have a desire to leave it. They're so confused. They don't understand that they just moved from, for instance, earth to the spirit plane. So there's beings there. The transition spirits are there who help them, and then their friends or their soul group members come and talk to them, and they help them through it. No, whatever length of amount of I hate to say the word time, but for lack of a better word, whatever amount of time it takes them, they stay there and do it. And then when they're comfortable, they can move on. But they're still watched over until everybody knows, oh yeah, they're ready, they're okay. So you won't go there and be in a world of confusion. You'll have someone there to help you. Lots of someones to help you. So don't be afraid. Let me see, how much time do I have? Oh, wow, I've done 40 minutes already. So I wrote a little note here. So there are spirits who are assigned and want to help those transitioning. They can maybe call it the transition department and personnel. And that was my thought. Dave says, you do love to compartmentalize, don't you? Yeah, I do. I'm on the human side, Dave. There are different contained realms for the transitional beings who were at their places, like Earth or whatever, who were murderers, or mean beings, who had done the no things. And once they have been helped to remember and they can freely move about other realms, then they're able to go from that realm. They're watched over even then until it is determined they're doing okay, because sometimes they get residual in their soul that wants to make them still be mean to other beings, whether it be soul or not. Sometimes he says they can, believe it or not, they can hide that feeling and get out of that transitional area and start to be mean to others. So then they're taken back to that area so that they can be worked with and helped to become the true loving soul that they are. There is a realm where the soul groups work on planning the next Earth experience, and we've talked about that before, or other place that they're going to experience. They work in their separate soul groups and then with other soul groups or members of other soul groups. They work together on the experiences, which we've discussed. So I won't spend much time on that. There are realms where the spirits prepare for the entry of where they are going for their next experiences and missions. This is after they've made their plans. All the plans are made. And then the soul that the plans were made for, who's going to come to the other place, the Earth or the other place, is worked on, or with, one-on-one. They get prepared for the entry, how they're going to come to the next place, whatever that entry mode is. And it's a place where they can see the preparations being done for them to make their entry. And it also gives them a chance for them to make their final decision on whether they want to go or stay. Whether they really want to do that mission or not. And so they have that time, that place to be and discuss it with a celestial being who will help them work through that. So, I discussed that part. Now we get to, I want to discuss the library. There's a library realm. It's a whole realm of its own, the library, that has all sorts of learning materials. Reading books that will automatically transfer into your being, listening to books, videos, records and recordings, interactive experiencing like acting out or watching others act out, the items connected with the subject that you're interested in. One of the reasons for this library is to exhibit the works of the spirits on their journeys who have contributed the library items, or those who want to witness what others have done on their experiencing and learning missions. And there are rooms like conference rooms where the spirits can get together to discuss the items that interest them with others who have the same interest. Now let me expand on that. I did not know how to explain this. Here we go with the rooms. I see, Dave is showing me, it's like when you picture a room, that's what it's like. You're in this space. Okay, it's a space that you can go to where there's really no walls. But there's rooms with tables in it in case you want to get materials that you can spread out on the tables, or chalkboards if you want to write on chalkboards, or what do you call those? Easels, if you got stuff you want to put on easels to show and share. And there's other rooms with just comfy chairs around so that the spirits can sit around and discuss the topic. Remember, the reality is what you want it to be. If you want to have some sort of solidness that you can sit in a chair and put your feet up, have some drinks while you're talking with your friends about a certain subject, you can do it. That reality is what you make it. And the material is coming from those who are on Earth or at other places who have experienced things and have just a minute, I gotta mute just a minute. There we go. So these places are for the experience of those, and the materials come from those who are at Earth or places like Earth and have recorded in some manner something they wanted recorded, like fiction, nonfiction, personal history, bio, personal experiences others have had that they have experienced and want to record. It's things that were sent to the spirit library to keep. And these things, the library council, here we go, another council, the library council updates these if there's updates that go with them. Like if something new or that is experienced that should be recorded in the materials that they have contributed needs to be added, it's added to the spirit library. So the library council makes sure that's done. They edit. Well, they don't really edit. I can't say that. They know what's in the materials. And if it's put into if the material is in a way that others cannot understand it, the library council will keep the meaning of what the being wants portrayed into it, but they'll put it in ways that others can understand what was being said. I don't know how else to say that, Dave. He says we'll have to stick with that. Okay. He says, when you're in the library, it's a wonderful place to be. It's just so relaxing. And at the same time, it's so informative. It will save beings from having to experience some experiences that they think they want to experience, but it's not their time to experience that experience. And so they go and they research on it, and they decide because some other celestial being has suggested to them, well, go to the library and check it out. And that helps them to check it out. I don't know how else to say it to you. I wish you could see what I see in my mind. And the last thing Dave said to me that I typed out was, this was sharing my experience from what he had shared with me, from what Dolly, am seeing and feeling as he is sharing these things with me. It is beautiful. Free will exists there. Unconditional love abounds. Words cannot describe it. And I want to say there's no pressures, yet at the same time, I'm experiencing a stress from Dave. All right, I'll save it one more time for kicks and giggles. There you go. Dave is, I'm going to say it, Dave, because you are experiencing some sort of, okay, I'll say the word angst over this material that I have shared with you. He wants to make sure that it is kept. He wants to make sure that I can share it with people. And for some reason I do not understand, he is saying there are those out there who really, really don't want this to be shared. But there's a whole bunch who are with him they've all talked, and I don't know how to say this either. They're all on the same thought wave with these words need to be put out in the conscious minds. And so he's very glad that I was able to say the words that I have. Just a minute. Where'd my thing go? Make sure I'm recording. Yes, we're recording, Dave. So, he's so happy. I love it when Dave's happy. Well, what was I going to go back and talk about? Do you remember, Dave? Oh, the different realms. He wants to kind of talk about these different realms. He says, how am I going to say that in words? He's showing me this humongous vista of realms. And they back up they connect with each other, and sometimes they can blend with each other depending on groups that are wanting to experience the blendings. They can blend these realms, and all the people who all the beings who want to experience that blending of them can go and experience it, and it's a lot of fun and excitement and information, experiences for everyone who's involved with that. whatever type of thing that you can think about for a realm, there's a realm for it. He says over and over again to me, the reality is what you make of it, no matter where you are, no matter spirit, a human being or a being at a different place, no matter what, no matter when, your reality is what you make it. And he says that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because so many beings, well, because we're all connected and it's wonderful to be able to share so much stuff with each other. Oh, my goodness. I hope that's it. Dave, what do you think? How did we do? Oh, he's so excited. He's dancing. Yes. Yes. We're dancing all around the room. He's taken me with him up in the air and we're dancing. That's how excited he is. And we got other beings dancing around us and singing. And I hear singing. I hear the angels singing. And other beings are singing. So this was a good thing. Oh my gosh, I got goosebumps on my human body. And my hairs are standing up. There's a very much rejoicing going on now. And I'm so glad that those of you who are listening are listening. I ask you, I implore you, feel what's going on around you. Feel your body. See if you get the goosebumps and the hairs standing up and feel the cold shivers, 'cause so many are with you. They're so happy. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody. So this one, titled Dave Speaks, and Dolly Shares What Dave Speaks, is a good explanation of what we just did. And it shows you in a way how I can communicate with Dave, how Dave communicates with me. Oh, I'm still dancing with him up wherever we are. And he's laughing and whispering in my ear, there's no chairs today, Dolly. 'Cause remember, he brings his comfy chair or his business chair to me, and I know that way whether he's meaning business or wanting to play. He says, today there were no chairs. It was all openness. Oh, he looks so happy. I love seeing him happy, and I hope y'all are happy too. And I'm going to end this now on a good note. We all love you. They all love you. Don't ever think you're not loved. You are loved unconditionally. All the time. Bye-bye.